And we're live. Good evening, Shifties. Welcome back to Shift the Journey. I'm your host, Tito Amogus. Today's special guest is Kelly Adams. Kelly has had a very interesting career journey. And I hope, whoever tunes in later, or if you're out there right now, if you have any questions or you have anything to say, put it in the chat. And, maybe we'll talk about it. All right, cool. So let's get to talking. So Kelly, um, where are you from originally?
Well, I'm back in my hometown, but I live in Northern California, about a few
Oh
hours north of Sacramento.
no, okay, Northern California. Why did I not pick up on that? That's interesting. So I'm originally from Southern California, but
Okay.
I lost my accent a long time ago. Some people say they can hear it here and there, but 20 years in the military, 17 of that in the South, and then for the last 10 years I've been in the South. So I've been in the South for longer than the amount of time that I lived in California. Just put it that way. But so um, all right. So you're from Northern California, like Northern California, huh? So
Yes,
like, how far from Sacramento?
3 hours north.
3 hours. So what's actually up there? Are there any other bigger towns or anything?
The biggest town I live in is Redding, California,
Oh, Reading. Yeah.
but no
Okay.
one usually knows where it is. So on
I
LinkedIn, I
know
just
where
put
that is.
Sacramento.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No. I've been there. I had a friend that I grew up with. They had some cousins who lived in Reading. We went to Lake Shasta,
Yep.
and you know, and when I was growing up, there was actually like knockoff sodas called Shastas, but whatever. Anyway.
Yes.
Oh, it must have been popular in the area, huh?
Yeah, I remember seeing them, but not really anymore. We have Whiskey
Yeah.
Town Lake. That's
Oh.
where we went a lot as a
Oh.
kid. Yes.
Whiskey Town Lake.
Whiskey
Yeah, I've been
Town.
there too.
Yes.
Yeah. I actually almost drowned in that lake. But that's another
You know,
story.
yeah. Just another
Yeah.
day there.
Just another day there. That's so crazy. Oh man. All right. So like as you're going through high school, did you think like, hey, I'm gonna go to college? Was there like something that you like had in mind to pursue in school?
No, in college I just picked math because I liked it, but I didn't really know what you could do with it.
Yeah.
But that was my major for a bit, but I switched majors a few times actually.
Yeah. The where did you end up going to school?
I went to University of Nevada, Reno, so it's not too far where I live, about
Oh yeah.
4 hour drive.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. And so did you end up graduating?
I did. I actually graduated with an degree in secondary education in mathematics.
Oh, okay. So did you think, oh, I'm gonna go teach somewhere?
Yeah, I enjoyed teaching at the time. This was around I went to school from around 20 late 2010s.
Hmm.
So I enjoyed it. Thankfully, it was before COVID, but in the end, I found out I enjoyed teaching, but I didn't necessarily enjoy public school teaching.
Oh
Like more
yeah.
like tutoring, mentoring.
Oh
So I
yeah.
decided not to be a teacher during my student teaching internship, actually. So I
Oh,
just
okay.
finished the degree, though.
Okay. So how did you what did you choose to go into next? What was your like transition in that?
Yeah, for me, it was random. It was honestly just whatever jobs I could get after college.
Uh-huh.
A lot of them were looking for relevant experience, even though I had a degree. But they're like, what internship you did? And I didn't want to be a teacher. So it was kind of just random. Worked at a call center for a bit. And then I worked as an agricultural inspector.
I
That's one of the
saw
border
that.
stations. Yeah. If you drive into California and the people standing there, if they ask you if you have plants or produce, I used to do that job.
Really?
Yes, that was my job for like 9 months because I was seasonal.
Oh my goodness. So like not during the winter, right?
No, during the winter.
During the winter, really?
Yeah, so
Oh,
I worked in the truckie station at the time.
okay.
And I think the coldest when I was standing out there booths. Like they don't want you to be in the booth. They want you to stand outside. It was
Uh-huh.
like 9 degrees Fahrenheit.
9?
Yeah.
9. Oh, that's wonderful.
It was
Yeah.
something. It was
Oh
an
my gosh.
experience.
Yeah, I bet. And so then like while you're there, you're probably thinking, I need to figure out my exit
I
strategy.
need an office job. I don't think I can do this. I'm not very good at this.
Yeah.
And then after I became a paralegal, because I just fell into like a receptionist job.
Yeah, I saw that. So you were working somewhere, you were a receptionist, you moved up to admin assistant, or was it, yeah,
Yeah,
admin
it was
assistant
administrative
and then,
assistant and then office manager. They just gave it was a lot of different titles because they're like,
oh, okay.
she does more than receptionist, and then they kept going up, and they're like, oh, you can do some light paralegal work towards the end.
So did you have to do any kind of training for the paralegal side?
I did take a course at my local at UNR. It was just more
Mhm.
like a additional training. It wasn't an additional degree or anything. It wasn't
Mhm.
certified, but
Yeah.
it did taught me more about, legal things, briefs, writing, drafting. So, and then I
Okay.
had the attorney I worked under. It was only one attorney, so I worked under him.
Okay. And then did you say, you know what, there's no future in this, or maybe this is not my future? What was your
It
thought process
For
there?
me, I joined a local paralegal group, and they were talking about their job. They're a bit more experienced than I was. I was pretty new in the field,
Mhm.
and they're talking about things. And I'm going, I don't know if this is for me. I kind of missed the technicality of what I was interested in school for math, but I didn't know what to do with that degree, which is why
Yeah.
I kind of ended up in teaching. And
Mhm.
I found the Google course, the Google Data Analytics course, kind of randomly because I was looking at courses and it like
Oh,
popped up.
wow.
And I went, I don't know what this is. So I kind of took it and decided that sounds like a cool career path. I'm going to do it.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing like the power of, like, making that decision for yourself and just heading on in the direction. That's interesting. And so, were you taking this course while you were still a paralegal, or
Yes. So I
okay.
worked full time and then I was doing this on the side, free
Mhm.
time, lunch sometimes, those kind of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. And then how long did it take you to finish that?
Uh, I know a lot of people are like, it should only take you 2 months, but I took a long time because I was like taking detailed notes, like it was an actual course. I did all the example problems. I don't know, a few months. So,
Okay.
and I wasn't sure if I actually liked this or if I was just kind of bored. So I was just taking
Oh,
my time, seeing if I liked it, and I ended up enjoying it. And I was like, okay, what's next?
yeah. Yeah. So then what did come next? What came next after that?
Well, I started going on LinkedIn. I think during the course it mentioned it, and I had a profile in college, but it was not up to date. It was just all my college information
Mhm.
when I was a student. So I started like, okay, I data analyst who's out there. I just started connecting with people. I think one of the first people I connected with was trying to remember Albert Bellamy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like one of the first guys I connected with, and one of the first person I had a conversation with. It was really nice, and
Oh.
he kind of encouraged me to like post about things and what I was learning about.
Okay, cool. Maybe that's how we got connected, because I know Albert. So yeah, interesting. So then, how did you come across your first opportunity in data?
For me, it was just a job posting. People always talk about networking, and I'd say
Mhm.
about half my interviews I ended up getting were from networking. But
Mhm.
the actual job I have now, I just found it like a job posting on. I think it was trying to remember that Y Combinator. It was one of those startup job
Oh
posting
yeah,
sites. Yeah, it was just one
yeah.
of those, and I was like, oh, data analyst. Clicked it, read the job description, and applied. I
Mhm.
didn't know anyone before I joined the company I'm at now.
Okay, and you've been there for a while now, huh?
Yeah, I'm going on my third year as of July.
Good,
I
yeah.
started there in July of 2023.
Okay, so then, um, while you were, so was it while you were still doing paralegal stuff, or is it after you did paralegal stuff, you were a math tutor?
Yeah, so after paralegal, my boss retired, so the company closed.
Oh,
So that's why I decided, like, well, if I'm going to make a career switch, this is going to be it. die, so to speak. But
Mhm.
I didn't know what to do. I knew I wanted a data analyst role, but it was hard because I had no prior experience. So
Yeah.
it took me a while to job search. I moved back in with my parents. Yay.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
just worked part time. I just worked part time at
Yeah.
places just to make ends meet. But thankfully, I had their support to help me out while I was switching careers.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's vital. That's vital. I remember going through a rough time trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. I was active duty Air Force, and my mom had said, "Hey, move back to California. Come live with us for a little bit, and then you could go to school and you could work part time and till you get back on your feet." And so I was thinking about that, and I went on my first deployment. And then I came home and I was like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go transfer over to the reserves. I'm going to do that. And I called home and my dad answered the phone. And I was like, yeah, tell him about my plan. And he's like, oh, nobody told you? And I was like, nobody told me what? And so I was stationed in Georgia at the time and they were in California. And they're like, we're moving to Tennessee. I'm like, what? And so I didn't get to move back in with my family or with my parents until after I retired from the Air Force. And then when I was 40, I went to go live with my parents for a little bit in Nashville just to get on my feet. So yeah, that family support, man, that's awesome. And so how long were you a math tutor?
I did some in college, but it
Mhm.
was more private because when we were going through our education program, my degree, sometimes our professors would be like, "Hey, if anyone wants experience, like I have a cousin, I have a neighbor's kid who needs math help." So I've been doing it since college, and then I just
Yeah.
kind of did it for the company based out of Reno for a bit, and
Mhm.
then they wanted someone in person, and I moved back home, so then that
Mhm.
ended, and I
Oh,
had
okay.
another job at a startup just writing like LinkedIn posts for a while.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's crazy.
Just fun,
So,
random
were
jobs.
yeah, were you able to use any of the experience that you had, in the time leading up to your first analyst position? Did you use any of that experience to get that job, or were they looking for somebody who's like just fresh and just doesn't really have any experience?
For me, I used the experience, the company I'm at, and what I saw a lot of the times was I think I got interviews sometimes because a lot of them weren't looking for necessarily for new grads. I did have a few years of work experience, even though it wasn't,
Hmm.
in the field, but I have been working.
Yeah.
So they just want someone who's just not entirely fresh, but maybe still earlier in their career. But I mostly talked about like the soft skills specifically, working with clients as a paralegal, communication, always used in any
Hmm.
job, translating the technical from non-technical. I talked about that a lot with the math tutoring, obviously
Hmm.
having to explain math concepts to people who are struggling and
Yeah.
maybe just sort of like, what do you even mean? Like, well, let me try to break it down.
Yeah, no, that's great. I had a conversation recently with a young man who's going through data analytics cohort at Nashville Software School, and so Nashville Software School is a nonprofit, and um, they have like part time boot camps, and then they have like intensive boot camps for data analytics, web development, data engineering. I don't know. I'm probably forgetting something, but anyway, he was a math guy too, and so he asked me some questions. He's like, "Hey, how do I translate that?" So if pretend I'm this guy, I can't remember his name because I just met him recently. So if I'm this guy and I'm asking you, I'm like, "Hey, I have a degree in math. How do I make it so like I stand out going into analytics?"
I think in that case, for me, since I had math, like education specifically, I focused on the communication a lot. But at least for math,
Oh.
depending on analytics, you do need like basic statistics for it sometimes. And
Mhm.
employers like it sometimes if they want an analyst who can do more than visualization, maybe they want someone who can do some like A/B testing.
Yeah.
You can talk about your stats knowledge. My stats knowledge is very basic, but um, talk about that attention to detail, because you do need that in math. Honestly, like one wrong sign can throw off a whole problem. It's happened to me many times during college.
Oh yeah.
Horrible. I think those are the main ones I can think of right now. Speaking from the math background, at least.
You say it was horrible. I bet you were an A student.
No, I was better at. I was not great at theoretical math. So any proofs or theories, I did not do very well at, to be honest.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. I don't think we have enough time to go into like all the ins and outs of math, but I really enjoyed math. But then there came to a point where I didn't enjoy it anymore. But I'm like, oh, I want to do something technical though. I do not want to work outside. Especially a day like today. I don't know how it is where you are, but out down here in South Mississippi, it is blazing hot. It was like heat index was like 120 something, which kind of reminded me of like growing up in California, Southern California. Oh, and then I spent my summers in Clovis at my aunt and uncle's house, where it was also in the triple digits. Except here we have humidity, so yeah, don't want to work outside. But so okay, so there's a conversation that's always out there about the differences or like the pros and cons of the education versus like certification, education versus certification and or experience. What's your take on that, since you have a math background but then you also have your like you did the Google Analytics course and then now you have experience?
I think it might depend on the person. Sometimes, well, I would say back, not that I'm that old, maybe, I don't know, but my university didn't have a data analytics or any data specific program. We had computer science, mathematics, obviously, and information systems. Those are like the 3 degrees that I could think of were the most similar. I think now universities have more specific data related degrees.
Yeah.
So that might be something someone wants to consider. I've noticed a lot of these employers do want some type of degree. Yeah. Obviously, they want something specific most of the time, like some STEM degree. But even if my degree is technically education in math, they usually see the education first, it's degree. So I see some benefit in that. Student loans, though. But if you're motivated enough, the certificate, self-taught way might work, especially if you're like a career changer. So for me, since it was so close to me being out of college, and I was like, I'm not going to get another degree. It's not worth it. I'm just going to teach myself this and kind of figure it out for me.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, when I went back to school for my master's, like it was right when I retired from the Air Force. It was 2015, and I was looking at online master's programs for analytics, and there were like 10 or 15 maybe, and there was like one bachelor's. And now I look and it's everywhere, like everywhere. But like this over these last 10 years of working in analytics, I've worked with so many people who do not have analytics degrees. They, like math. One was library science. Another one was a bachelor's in psychology, mechanical engineer, information systems. Like you name it, all the different stuff. It was so crazy. It's like, oh, but yeah, a lot of employers just want to know you have some kind of technical degree, and I guess it's because they want to know that you have like the aptitude to learn technical things, right? But then also have some kind of personality to be able to talk to people.
Yeah, I've noticed sometimes I have coffee chats, and I've noticed people who tend to have like better communication skills tend to do well, even if they don't necessarily are the most technical savvy.
Yeah.
Specifically for people who are like transitioning careers, I should say.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Man, I have some people that I'd like to connect with you, who are looking to make a shift in their careers, and like that one young man, God, it's killing me. I can't remember his name, but he he's who is, yeah, he's going through NSS right now. And he's got the math degree. Uh, and then, one of the things we talk about is like, using your experience and translating it to uh, being not translating it to being relevant, but like translating it so that the person that you're being interviewed by sees how relevant your experience is, even if it's not in analytics, right?
Yeah.
And so, um, how do you have like any tips like for somebody who's trying to do that? Like, how can they do that? How can they say, since you were an agricultural specialist and you're
Yeah, I did a lot of things before this.
yeah, how do you translate what you did? Is
Yeah, I
there
think for me, I struggle with that a lot as well. What I ended up finding was what I used to do was analyze job posts,
Mhm,
specifically jobs that, I thought I could apply for. By that, I wasn't obviously applying for any director level. So I would look at, those early career, maybe like 1 to 5 year experience kind of job postings and look at the language they use. A lot of the times they would use something like translate technical concepts to stakeholders. And instead I would explain, or I would put translate mathematical concepts to students. So I kind of would fit my experience on what they were looking for and see,
mhm,
okay, I have that, I might not have that, but I definitely have that communication, the attention to detail for paralegal. So I just kind of find what all these job descriptions were looking for and then
mhm.
see where my own experience aligned with them as well. And sometimes I try to use similar languages they like to use because maybe whoever I'm interviewing for would like translate. Yes, I wrote that in the job description. They might notice.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Good tips. So I've asked this question before of like musicians. Do you find that there's anything from your musical background that relates to like, being in the field that you're in?
Yeah, I haven't. I'll be honest. I haven't done music in a while. This background is fake. This piano is not real. This house is, quite different from what the room I'm in now. But um, I think, at least for me, it was. People always say musicians are like really creative, and I think you could apply that to technical skills as well. Not in the sense that I'm like, oh, I'm not that creative. I can't draw off anything. I can't create composition, but just being able to like problem solve and just look at things differently because that's something that employers look for in analysts. A lot of the times they might not want someone who just churns out reports. They
Mhm.
want someone who would like notice things like, hey, I noticed something, like I noticed the numbers are weird, like there was no error with this report, but the numbers seem off. Like I just someone who noticed these things maybe thinks, well, we've always done it this way. Why don't we try it some different way? So I think creativity and just thinking about something differently than, maybe you think you should, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, the term I think gets overused, but really it really is creative problem solving. There's sometimes where I've worked with people who were like, okay, I did it the way it said to do it and it didn't work, so I don't know what to do, right?
Hmm.
But like a creative problem solver will come up with a different way to do it, right?
Hmm.
We're gonna get this done. We're gonna do it. Persistence too.
Oh,
You know.
definitely persistence. If you're trying forever on a song, you're like, I can't get this stupid thing right. I can't get the chord changes right. Like nothing's working. And you
Yeah.
just kind of not only hack at it, but also, like I said, think about what you could do differently. Sometimes you do have to brute force it, but sometimes, especially in music, but sometimes you're like, I don't think I'm using the right chord change, like for my fingers. I was like, I don't think it's the best way. Is there a different technique I can use? Same with data. Sometimes I'm like, I think I'm using the wrong tool. Maybe I should try something else, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's interesting. what kind of tools are you using? Are you would you say you're more on like engineering side or viz side, or would you say you like do them all?
I do them all because I do work at a startup, and so I'm the
Yeah, oh,
main
yeah.
data analyst person. So I say anything after, our devs generate, data, put it in a database. Anything after that is basically what I handle.
Okay.
So granted, we don't use a lot of charts here. That's my joke. I'm like, guys, this could be a chart. Come on, a good line chart. We're just begging for it. What about a bar chart? But so I kind of do it all. But we mostly use Google Cloud Platform, so that's where my specific specialty is in.
Oh, good thing you took that Google Analytics course, huh?
Yeah, even the BigQuery helped. They didn't use
Oh,
Looker,
yeah.
Google Looker Studio, which is their visualization reporting hub.
Right.
They actually talked about Tableau when I took it at the time.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Huh.
taught myself Google Looker.
Wow. So then I heard you had to be like really adept at SQL to be good at Looker.
Yeah, SQL wasn't too bad, thankfully, because I did some programming in college. So I learned when I started, I think I was like adequate, but I've been
Huh.
doing it almost every day for like a few hours. So now I'm just like, yeah, left join this, left join
Yeah.
union that. Where's the Windows function? Even though I forget the syntax constantly, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it's funny because people who so I take part in it's like a mentoring session like every quarter with Nashville Software School, right?
Mhm.
They get on a Zoom call and then they have so like I don't know, 5, 10, 8, whatever of us who have experience in data, and then the students all come in groups in like breakout rooms, right, on Zoom. And so people they often ask things like, "Oh, am I going to have to know this? Am I going to have to know that?" I'm like, "Oh, is it entry level in an entry level role?" No, because you're going to be doing something so many times that you're going to become an expert at it. And that's like what that is. It's like I was adequate at this and then, I had to use it all the time, so then, you become an expert through time and repetition. That's it right there, time and repetition. That
Lots of
makes sense.
repetition.
Oh yeah, lots of repetition. So if there is somebody who is, I mean, a lot of my network are people who went from industry A to industry B or are transitioning, and a lot of them are transitioning into tech. If there's any from your experience, if there's anything, any piece of advice, what would that be? I know that's a broad question, but considering your background, it's like very interesting. What would that piece of advice be?
Yeah, I think it's more, I guess, like standard. I don't know. It feels like, oh, someone's like, I probably heard this before. Like they probably heard it already, but it's always being able to, I think the soft skills are sometimes lacking. Like obviously
Mm,
you need to know the technical skills, like you need to know for SQL, you need to know what a left join is. You need to know like how tables relate to each other, things like that. But sometimes I've noticed sometimes people like really focus on the technical skills. Like I'm not getting a job. I think my SQL needs to be better. And sometimes I see that it's more either maybe interviewing skills. Interviewing is hard. I don't think I'm the best at it either.
mhm.
But and just being able to translate your like previous experience. So I
Yeah.
think once you get those base level of skills, obviously, whatever that is for the role that you're looking for, I think being
Mhm.
able to like craft the story of why you're transitioning, being able to answer
Oh,
quickly, like
yeah.
what are you interested? Why did you switch data? You know, have that answer ready to go out of your pocket. Explain, your greatest strengths. Like for me, it was the communication, the problem solving that I would always heavily emphasize on. Just being able to like explain that as well as you can.
Yeah. 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 Being able to craft your story is a huge thing. I remember somebody told me, "Well, you got to have your elevator pitch ready." And it
Yeah.
like stressed me out, like completely stressed me out
No,
doing
no.
a
I'm sorry.
immediately no, immediately no. 0 of 10 would not recommend. Yeah,
Mm.
I'm comfortable in front of the camera. I'm comfortable on stage. I've been performing all my life, but when it comes to record this elevator pitch, man, I tried like 3 times and I was like, just not gonna happen. And then I shut it down. I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. It's like the most awkward thing.
It's super, super awkward, especially if you don't like you're not talking in person, so you can't see
Yes.
either hear their voice or like look at their facial expressions if it's a video call or in person. It's literally just a video, and you're going. At least during the elevator pitch, like if you're talking to someone, you can start your intro and you can read their face maybe and go,
Yes.
I'm boring them. I need to forget, the last 3 sentences of my pitch. Just finish it up, Kelly. You're over explaining.
Exactly.
A video, there's nothing. You're just staring into the camera.
Yeah, exactly. Like the the whole thing for me being an extrovert is like I want to read people's faces, right? I want to know that what I'm saying is resonating with you. And if it's not, then I have to change something in what I'm saying or like how I'm saying it. Otherwise it's like, oh, this is like really awkward. But yeah, if I'm just talking to a camera and there's nobody there, it was just too hard. It was too much. I was like, nah, I can't do it. So anybody out there, I guess, if you want to do that, man, you can do that. I'm
for you.
not gonna do that. Yeah,
that is
good
it kind of reminds me of audition tapes, almost like actors have to do. That I've heard, especially like during COVID, everyone's doing an audition tape or like sending a video in, and I was like, couldn't do that. Can't be me.
Yeah. Oh man, that's crazy. So, all right. Well, it's been great having you on here. Hearing about your interesting story. Having the math background. I'm if you don't mind, I'm gonna see if I can find that dude and connect you with him. But he has some good questions. Like he had some like really good technical questions. I'm like, and that's a little bit technical for me, bro. I'm not a math guy. Like I like math, but I'm not a math guy, so maybe you can have more relevant answers for him.
I can try. It's been a minute. I have some old math books I can bust out. There's always ChatGPT, but I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, I don't trust this. So I'll look at the math textbooks and go, oh yeah, okay, it's coming back to me now.
Okay, all right, yeah. I mean, you're the expert. Hey, right? So, but I know there's like probably there's at least that one guy, and there's maybe a couple more. But I'll let you know. I'll shoot you a message. But thanks for coming on here. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you sharing your story and some of the the thought process of your transitioning each time and like giving some good advice about crafting your story, about why you're transitioning. That's really good. So I'm going to go ahead and end the stream, but before that, I want to announce to everybody next week we have my guest is Matt Montgomery. Matt and I worked together for a minute a few years ago. Matt is one of the first people that I ever met who earned the Alteryx Expert certification. And there's like 50 people or whatever in the world who have it. It's crazy. He's also recently became an Alteryx Ace. And anyway, all around good dude. And so, hopefully you guys join us next week. Kelly, don't go anywhere. I'll talk to you in the studio. But everybody else, Have a great week. Peace.